It started quite a long time ago, actually. Probably, I hate to admit, maybe 8 years ago. Um, I had a meeting with the PBF, and we discussed the idea of this event, and they had also had similar ideas as well, so it was kind of a mutual, but it took quite a while to get it off the ground in America. That was the important first step. Obviously, as you know, Europe was very well prepared in the junior program, but thank God we got the BCA to jump on board, and here we are 3 years later with a beautiful event.
I'm pretty sure it's not so easy to set up such a big event, and this is the third year. It's like a middle point. Yeah, can you just try to evaluate the project? Is it exactly what you expected it to be?
Actually, I think it's gone above the expectation. The first year obviously was really exciting, but it's like anything. The first time you have a big learning curve. You have to understand all the nuances of how to put it on an event like this. Last year in America, in Chicago actually, the BCA was really the first time in a long time that they had to put on a professional event, and they did a wonderful job. And I was kind of teasing them yesterday because the BCA was teasing yesterday because Europe has certainly raised the bar this year in Klagenfurt. This is just amazing what they've done.
The bar even higher next year, right?
Well, certainly the challenge has been set, that's for sure. And I'm really happy with the way everybody's played, obviously. The Americans, although they were a little bit tired from their strenuous activities yesterday, you could see the nerves in the first match. But they settled down, and it's a very competitive event. I think it's a wonderful pool.
Yep. So far, even the second match, it wasn't the easy go for Team Europe.
Right.
It could turn the other way.
Exactly. And that's really what this event is about. It should be, last year was a little bit lopsided, as you know. And it's a shame because I think we had so much the American team seems to be really gelled together very well, and they're starting to loosen up, so I think it's going to be a great week.
Yeah, I must admit that the American team looks much stronger this year. I'm sorry for the last year's result. It was my first year. I couldn't do the other way, so
you can't apologize for a good pool. You guys played awesome last year under your tutelage, so no, you have to take a full credit for that.
I think the players were ones who made all this happen. I was just trying not to interfere too much.
Right, right.
So as a coach, you should be careful.
We talked about that last year, right? I mean, you have such a nice pool of talent in Europe. It's kind of easy coaching job because you just sit back and watch them do what they do.
Yeah. That was really wonderful thing to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And I must say that the whole organization in Chicago was really wonderful. I experienced one of the best weeks in my life with such high pool and so many interesting people around.
Oh, it's Chicago.
Yeah.
Come on.
So I hope that the ones who organize these events are looking now and hearing our credit.
I'll guarantee Rob and Shane are back in Colorado right now watching for sure. In fact, my phone will probably be buzzing in 10 seconds. But I'm guarantee they're watching, and I know they're very excited. And hopefully they're already planning what they're going to do for next year.
So, and here we see the first frame, first track, and Maxim Dudonets, who is the one of the most experienced player in Team Europe. This is his third appearance.
Yeah, I like Maxim. He's a great kid, great player. Played in the U.S. Open last year.
He did a tour, I think, several tournaments in USA, and
Right.
he got some really good results.
He did well in the U.S. Open. I don't know what he finished, but I did watch one of his matches, and that's pretty stiff competition at the U.S. Open, and he did well.
I'm pretty sure you will see more of Max this year because Max is turning professional, so
Right.
he is attending more and more professional tournaments.
Right.
And what a pity, he tried to force a pocket, unfortunately. Those Rason tables are very tight.
Definitely.
I think it's good. So do you think the loser tables are better or tighter?
No, I prefer the tight tables. I think that at this skill level, you should be able to play on a very tough table. Nobody wants to see an easy, sloppy game, right? Sure, we hate to see when they rattle like that a little bit, but all these guys on both sides have played big events in their lives, either Junior World Championships, National Championships, whatever it is. So, these are about as close to professionals as you're going to get at this age, right? And
Yeah, those are future, right?
without a doubt.
And
Well, hopefully someday we'll have something similar to the Euro Tour in America, so that once these kids turn 19 and they can't be juniors anymore, they've got some place to go.
I just wonder, in a country like US, which pool is so popular, why isn't any like North American tour or something like that? I think it used to be many years ago, like Camel Tour. Yeah.
There's been several attempts over the years, some successful, some not. There's we don't want to get too deep into the politics, right?
Of course, if not too deep, just wondering maybe.
I think there's certainly pool struggled both in the sport and the industry in America in the last 10 years when the economy kind of fell apart. Pool, unfortunately, was a victim of that as well. However, certainly in the last 3 or 4 years, things have really picked up nicely, and actually the Atlantic Challenge Cup is a good result of that. So I think there's been a lot more talk recently and a lot more desire to really start something bigger and consistent in America. So I keep my hopes up that things are going to change quite much in the next couple of years.
Okay, let's keep fingers crossed. I think this is
Absolutely.
important.
Absolutely. Because, I look at it from this point of view. There's no question that these juniors in Europe, when they are not eligible to be juniors anymore, they have somewhere to go on the Euro Tour. And in America, when you have some of these great young talents like April, Ricky, all these guys on the American team, there's not as many opportunities, obviously. And it would be really nice to continue this generation because they're bringing up the generation behind them as well. So there needs to be some place for these guys to have the opportunity to play the game that they love. And you can obviously tell the 12 kids in this arena all love this game.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And Manny, I really like Manny. I think they've been working on his nickname this week. I'm not quite sure I like some of them that have come up, but I offered up Cool as a Cucumber because he just seems so relaxed and having a great time, and it's his first year on the ACC team, and he's just enjoying it.
But he looks very mature player. So
Yeah. He's been playing a long time. Really great kid. They're all great kids. I thought yesterday was just, it was so funny to watch how in the beginning everybody was a little bit reluctant to get involved or even get wet. And by the end of the day, wow, they were just all smiling and happy, and it was really nice. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, for sure it was a wonderful day yesterday. It was interesting activities. Also today we all feel that we
Right.
got the sun.
Well, I got a question for you, Thomas.
Yeah?
You've been doing some broadcasts already tonight, right?
Yeah.
Did you discuss the fact that you went down the longest slide in Europe?
No.
Oh.
I haven't mentioned this. I think the
Oh.
audience would be interesting to.
Perhaps I should tell the audience that, well, it's really hard to describe, actually, right? It's a gigantic tower way up on top of the lake, and they have this sort of corkscrew slide that you go through. Interestingly, I was at the bottom taking pictures when they come out, and the funny part about it was is you could hear the people coming down the slide, and actually if they were screaming or whatever they were saying, and it was a bit of an echo. It was kind of neat. And sure enough, when you came down, I heard quite a bit of whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah. I was. It was interesting feeling.
But I give you credit. You did it, and that's awesome.
It wasn't so scary actually. I was very surprised. A few guys didn't made it, but
Right. Oh, that's a tough
Oh.
one. That's a tough miss.
That's a tough miss and quite painful because
Yeah.
now the US team can go in the 2-0 lead.
Right.
Patrick is a little bit surprised here.
And Patrick's been playing well tonight, actually.
On the practice table, he looked very comfortable.
Yeah.
Just in the morning, I was watching, and he was very okay.
Okay.
But this is the competition; it's different. so it's-
Absolutely. I was talking with Johnny Archer on one of the breaks, and it was interesting to me. April Larson, who everybody knows, obviously, she's played in world championships, national championships. That's nice. She's played on the women's tour in America. She's played probably every big event you can imagine, almost. A lot of international events as well. And I have never seen her so nervous tonight.
Really?
Oh yeah, and she absolutely admitted. And when you think about it, isn't that exactly what you want? Because obviously it means so much to her that it's you can see the emotion coming out of her. And it doesn't hurt her, actually. It sort of helps her in a way because she understands it, so she doesn't try to fight it. She controls it. And I think that that was actually wonderful, that she could goof around and joke about it, admitting that she was nervous, but it tells you how important this is to her. I think that's really nice.
I think the worst part is that you don't feel nervous at all. That means you
Exactly.
don't care, and this is,
Right.
I think, this is very risky when the player is just so relaxed.
I agree. I agree. Yep, I totally agree.
So, let me ask you another question.
Sure.
You have very experienced team leader this year. Of course, with many supporting pros last year in Chicago, but it looks like Johnny said now it's personal, and he took the role of the leader.
Right.
How important for you is to have a professional and celebrity like Johnny Archer on team?
Well, that's a really good question. I think it's very important to have someone with the vast experience like a Johnny Archer. Obviously a world champion, been in the game for a long time. But there's a difference, as you know, between being a coach and just being a celebrity. And Johnny took this very serious from day one when he was mentioned in the discussions of being the team captain. And I had many conversations with him in the last few months, and what surprised me the most was is he absolutely approaches this from a mentor standpoint as a coach. He doesn't really want to acknowledge that he's a long-time world champion professional pool player. He's Captain America right now. And I kind of tease him about that because I told him Captain America is a level above Batman, so he's really important right now.
That's a good.
But I think what's interesting, I've been sitting mostly on the USA side and listening to what Johnny says to the kids, and he gives a lot of technical inspiration. He gives really good information as far as what's happening immediately, which, as you know, coaching is a difficult way to transfer what's in your head into someone else's brain. And he's doing it. The kids love him. The kids absolutely love him, but they respect him tremendously. So they're like hungry birds. Whatever he has to offer, they're hungry to eat it up, and it's really been nice. He's taking it very seriously.
I'm pretty sure for them it's an opportunity to get the knowledge out of Johnny.
Absolutely. He hosted a sort of training camp last week for the team, so they were all down in Atlanta at his room, and we had the help of Allison Fisher as well, and Lori John was down there, and we had quite a few professionals from America helping out. And these kids all love the fact that these people are willing to offer their talent and their professionalism to, I don't want to say ensure a victory, but certainly make them the best pool players that they can be. And it's really paid off. In the last few years, we've had Jeanette Lee and Nick Varner. I mean, some of the big names in America really helping us out. And it's wonderful because everybody offers their time. Nobody's looking for any sort of compensation or anything like that. They really see the advantage and the future of this event, and everybody's really joined together in America quite a bit for this. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, that's so good to hear that the such a big names as Janet Lee and Nick Warner and others
Right.
Supporting the American youth. So,
And the kids love it. I mean, these are people that they've looked up to all their pool life, and when they get to actually have one-on-one training with these people at a one-on-one level, it's not like going to some clinic and you're part of a group or whatever. These guys are getting some one-on-one personal instruction from some of the top people in the sport. I like Christina. I just like the way she plays, and she's a good pool player.
she is very hard-working and hard-training player.
Right.
Just
I know last year when some of the American kids found out that she trained sometimes 8 hours a day,
yes,
they were shocked by that. But certainly her game reflects that training.
and results.
Absolutely.
And results.
Absolutely.
She is still very young.
Yep.
She is still junior, so she will be playing in 2 weeks in Netherlands, European Junior Championships. I can hardly imagine anyone can give her a tough competition in
Right.
girls division.
She's won some Euro Tour events, right?
Right at Women
Yeah.
Euro Tours,
Right.
I think quite a few, and I'm not sure, but she might be also a ranking leader in Europe.
Oh,
and
really?
for sure, she's playing in World Game
Yeah. Yeah.
in Poland.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the first round match against Kelly Fisher, so it's
Oh boy.
sort of a.
Well, unfortunately, I was.
I don't know, unfortunately for who, but
Right. I was slated to go to the World Games this year, and unfortunately, I just couldn't work out all the scheduling, and it would have been too much back and forth from America to Europe, so I had to skip it this year. But when you think about it, those are 16 of the best women and the best men in the world, and to think that Christina is going to be in that group of 16 is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, she's biggest achievement, I think, for everybody.
Yep. She's always got a good positive aura around her. Wow, you know, now I think about it, you've actually got two people that are going to be in the World Games here, right? Albin and Christina.
Albin, right. Albin is also part of the...
I was happily surprised. I know originally Albin was slated to be the European coach, and then because of the World Games, we thought that maybe it was too close to the World Games, and at one point we thought that Jasmine was going to take over as coach. And I ran into Jasmine at the China Open, and I said, well, you know, thank you for... And she said, oh, no, my brother's going to do it. I said, really? Does everybody else know this? So I'm glad that Alvin decided to step up and do it. I mean, it is their hometown, right?
Yes, this is his hometown.
Right.
Actually, we need to ask Jasmine why they made this choice. Because at first I thought that she can be a captain of the Team Europe.
Right. Well, she's certainly been here supporting the team so far.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Albin has so much to share with the youth, and so far is giving his best advices.
Sure.
I think as a pro, he is now in his top form. He is still the reigning world champion and just the winner of the World Cup of Pool.
Yeah.
So he knows a few things.
Absolutely.
So I think the kids, and I was telling the kids, ask him.
Questions,
he has something to tell you. Just use the opportunity.
Right, absolutely.
So,
I think that's one of the great parts of this event, that you have, these kids have the opportunities to get close to people like that have the experience, that have won a world championship, because certainly that's not an easy thing. And it's a great opportunity that they can ask these questions and learn from these mentors, really. That's a nice shot.
Ricky is a very good player. I remember from last year
he's a very good player. I think he's changed quite dramatically since last year.
Very much.
Yeah, he was a little bit timid and shy last year, quite quiet, and this year he seems to be quite open and a little bit nervous, quite honestly.
I thought maybe he feels some sort of a leader of a team. Maybe because of it he's...
Yeah, I could see that. I can see that for sure. He hides his nervousness quite well. His brother Nick was on the first ACC American team, so it's kind of nice that they've got two generations, well, not generations, but certainly siblings that have played 2 out of the 3, or actually 3 out of the 3, right? Ricky was on last year as well. And it's kind of unique that we've been to Austria twice.
Yeah, it's well, I think Austria is a nice place to be, first of all, during the summer.
I fell in love with it when I was here 3 years ago. So.
But EPBF gives the opportunity to every country to organize ACC, and so far as I understand, the Austria made the best deal on looking at this event. Can you imagine the better conditions here? No.
No, I was just going to say, I can't imagine anybody that could have come close to having this this kind of quality.
What a shot by Ricky. Wow. Definitely a boost of confidence.
Yeah.
And I think this is pretty important match, right? It's the third one.
Yeah,
who
absolutely.
goes with the lead.
Right.
Oh, a little bit too strong.
Yeah. Overcooked it. Yeah, I don't know. What do you do here?
It's a little bit tricky. It's pretty hard to play safety shot
Right.
in this position. Even with a kick shot, it's you must be a little bit lucky here.
Right.
To get out of this position. So
And he's going to jump it.
He will try to jump it. Well, the jump shot is difficult.
Yeah, it is.
Well, let's say not the worst case scenario.
Right. I was kind of surprised too tonight. There were quite a few people in the crowd here for a Wednesday night. I think it's going to get bigger and better as the week goes on. But the facilities here and the amount of people that have been here already certainly eclipse anything that we've had prior to this. So it's nice to see the growth of the event.
You know, Skip, it's natural, but in the summer and with such weather, it's very hard to get people inside.
Sure.
So, but
yeah, they're all at the lake.
Yeah. But yeah, there were pretty some people coming here and from town,
right?
Not the parents, and just to watch this event. And I'm pretty sure there will be more.
I think so. I absolutely think so. David Morris was telling me that they've got big video screens in the town center, and they're actually showing this in the town center.
Wow. I'm pretty sure quite many are listening to us right now as well.
You think so?
I don't know the number, but
no. As soon as you
can
said,
it be the other way?
As soon as you said Skip Nemesek, they said, "Oh no, not that guy again."
So sort of a safety battle.
Yeah. Me personally, I prefer this. I don't really like the jump shot. I know it's exciting, but it's such a hit or miss, and I know that's a big crowd favorite, but there is an art to having to kick and play safe, and I'm not so sure that...
Oh, he made a foul.
Yeah.
He just touched me. You know, I agree with you. When the jump cure was invented, I remember in year 2000, there was the first bungee jump cure.
Right.
I bought it actually in Austrian European Championships, and after that, everybody started to jump better and better.
Right.
But the old school, the 2 or 3 rail kick shot, is something, in my opinion, is more beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing is that even at this level, these kids obviously know how to get around a table. So it's not like it's an interesting rack.
So Maxim just capitalized the mistake made by Rick, and the score is 2-2.
What a beautiful setup, isn't it?
And do you like the table? I think the restaurant table is very beautiful.
I do like it, yeah. In fact, I unfortunately I don't know enough about them, but I think that's slightly different than one they had last year. It's a little bit different design. Not that Rassin was at the ACC last year, but oh, there's Robert. He knows I'm talking about him.
So he's listening.
Score is 2-2. USA to break.
Yeah, it's a nice looking table, and the kids have been really pleased with it, which is important, obviously.
For sure, this table gives some style to the event.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's good that the industry supports projects like this, and
It's very important.
It wouldn't be possible to do something like this without the producer support. So
Absolutely. And I think what's nice, especially about this year, it's clearly obvious the industry supported this event very much. But not only that, you look at the town of Klagenfurt has really stepped up and supported this event. Our organizer has done a remarkable job, really not only setting up the event and making everything accessible, but also providing a lot of nice opportunities for the kids. Like I said, they've set the bar pretty high this year, and America's got their work cut out for them next year.
can you tell us anything about the next year's plan, or is it a big secret, classified information?
Yeah, actually, I can't tell you.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure myself. I've got a pretty good idea, but generally the BCA likes to do this event in conjunction with the National Trade Show. Whether that's going to continue or not, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sure the information will be available shortly. They like to keep a bit of secrecy about it as well.
That's good.
And I'm sure there's quite a few Americans actually watching. I know quite a few of the parents from Team USA couldn't make it this year, so I'll guarantee they're watching. And I think quite a few other people are watching as well. It's actually kind of convenient time for America right now.
Right.
Early evening or early afternoon, so good entertaining stuff. He got
Patrick
his,
Hoffman
he
is
got his
trying to be the quickest player
right
today. And Europe is getting a slight lead.
That was 3-2, right? Yep.
Yeah. So it's again the girls.
That's good to see. I like when the team gets behind each other and gives a high fives and big smiles. There's one of the American fans. That's Shane's family, mother and father and sister.
I think it's important to have supporters, and it's pity to hear that not everybody could make it
Yeah,
this year.
sometimes it's difficult and certainly costly.
Of course.
But I think as this event continues to grow, it's also going to grow support on the fan base as well. Wow.
Wow, what a nice break shot. 3 balls on the break.
Yeah.
And Christina is just a small girl.
Right.
Not very powerful,
Right.
but with soft break, 3 balls. What can you say?
Yeah, that's very nice. Yeah, it was interesting. I think the biggest American support we had was the first year. We had quite a few of the parents showed up the first year, which is kind of understandable, right? That it's the first time the event, so the parents are going to sort of follow their kids to keep an eye on them, whatever. Last year in Chicago, we had some decent amounts. Certainly would have liked more. And I'm just going to be curious because they've done a lot of advertising for this event this year. I don't think the expectation was too high tonight for a Wednesday night, but certainly Thursday, Friday, Saturday they have some pretty high hopes, so it's good. And I think the kids like that as well. You know, they like to see a lot of people in the stands and hear the applause, and that's good. Yeah, Christina's making this one look pretty easy.
When she plays, everything looks easy.
Yeah, right.
remember last year Nick Warner said, "What a soft stroke."
Right.
He was impressed by Christina's technique, and I
Right.
think not only he, she is.
Geez, I just thought of another story, Thomas. Did you tell him about your paddle boat excursion?
You know, Skip, I cannot talk about myself so much. I would like to, but
But these are such interesting stories that the public wants to hear.
how I almost lost it with such a big lead. Yeah, we had interesting competition yesterday, and I was very relaxed because I had really big.
Right. And it was funny, right before you started, Sierra, I told her to go last because she was one of the strongest paddlers. She had done it before, and she didn't really want to do it. And I said, no, I think you should go last. And wow, it was pretty cool how she caught up.
It was a nice time.
That was really a lot of fun. I just loved watching how the kids warmed up to it. And by the afternoon, everybody was happy and smiling and having a great time and just goofing around. And I think that's one of the biggest important parts of this event is that you get kids from 2 different continents learning different cultures and appreciating each other and actually building friendships. I know Christina and April became very close friends.
Since the first year. Yeah.
Right. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, that's true. I think most of the kids know each other,
Yep.
and they have met in World Championships. So
Right. And that's what's nice about it. They, like you said, they go to a World Championship and they have a bit of a bond with each other that they don't have with other people. Certainly they're friends with other people, but they have a bond from the ACC that I think is pretty darn strong. Boy, that 9-ball didn't move a millimeter, did it?
no.
And you noticed I used millimeter instead of inch.
So Skip, can you tell the story about the 9-ball rule changing, the break rule changing?
Really?
I think this is a tough question for you, but
Yeah, you're gonna put me in the frying pan now. I should have kept my mouth shut about the paddleboard incident. Yeah, it's such a controversial thing, and actually, I'm not afraid to talk about it because I devote a lot of my time and energy to this, and it's been a difficult one just to have everybody understand. Basically, there was this idea of whether the 9-ball should be placed on the spot or the 1-ball should be placed on the spot as it has been traditionally. The WPA decided last year actually they decided in 2015 that for all of 2016 they would test and have all WPA events racked with the 9-ball on the spot. And you can talk to 10 people about this and you'll get 30 opinions on it. It's a difficult one. I believe at a professional level, professionals are always going to find the best way to get through the table. Obviously, that's why they're professionals, or that's why they've gotten to the level that they've achieved. But you also have to consider all the millions or tens of millions of people that are also playing the game at an amateur level as well. So the unfortunate or fortunate, however you look at it, or whichever side you're on, results of the 9 on the spot last year, it was pretty inconclusive actually. There wasn't a leaning towards one way or the other statistically. but I've talked to a lot of professionals about it as well, and the one thing that I learned is there's a lot of variables involved in this. You know, using a magic type style rack, some people are using a wooden rack, some people are using a plastic rack, balls are tapped. There's a lot of variables. Who's racking the balls? The referees, like these are some of the top referees in Europe right now, they know how to rack a set of balls. I can't say that that's true for the rest of the world. When players rack, I think winter break or alternate break has a lot of impact on this as well. So there's a number of variables that are involved. And technically the rule is that the balls will be racked as tight as possible. It doesn't say that every ball will be touching and there will be no gaps. It's just as tight as possible. The rule got... Actually, the rule... This is another misunderstanding. The rule has always been that the one ball is placed on the spot. And like I said, last year was a test period where they went ahead and racked with the 9 ball on the spot. This year, the WPA decided, and when I say the WPA, I think it's also important to note that it's the members of the WPA, not the board of directors, that make rule change decisions. It was decided to leave the rule as is and drop what was called a professional rack option. So they dropped that, and that will begin after the World Games.
Oh, so we get back to the old rule
Correct.
after the World Game.
Correct. So yeah, it's a bit of a controversy because, again, like I said, things are done differently all over the world, in Europe or in Asia or even in America, and you have all these other factors involved, racks and who's doing them and how they're racked and so on and so forth. I think what's important to really consider is you want to maintain the integrity of the game. And I think pool has really regained a lot of its integrity over the last few years. Certainly pool has increased tremendously in Asia. It's always been very strong in Europe, and it's having a good foundational structure in America as well. And it's important to maintain that integrity and maintain a consistent set of rules. You don't want to have something where you're changing because one week you decide it should be this way and next week you should. Nobody's going to take that seriously. So hopefully moving forward, this will be a good thing. But I have to say this on a personal note, and I'm not so sure I want to throw myself under the bus on this one. Of course we like 9 ball, and 9 ball is an exciting game. People like to watch it, obviously. Mosconi Cup has quite a bit of interest, and obviously the ACC is a huge thing. But if you consider the overall world statistics, everybody's playing 8 ball. And thankfully this year we're actually going to have an 8 ball world championship for both men and women, which hasn't happened in quite a while.
In same place?
Yeah, same place. Yeah,
wow.
Quite a nice, sizable purse as well, and yeah, it's going to be very big. And it hasn't happened for a while, so that's important for both men and women.
When was the last time when men and women played together in World Championships?
It's been quite a while. Well, I think it's been 6 or 7 years since there's been an 8 ball World Championship. I can't tell you the last time that they were both men and women at the same time. So it's been a while. And so that's great because, you know, you've got the whole world, certainly in America, there's a lot more 8 ball going on than 9 ball. Every bar in America that has a coin table, they're not going to take half the balls out. They're going But I still think, well, I don't think, I know that 9 ball is still an important discipline, obviously, and it's an exciting game, and it's quick. So there still has to be a lot of effort to maintain all the disciplines of pool, and the WPA tries their hardest. Although I'm sure everybody thinks contrary to that.
Yeah, thank you. That was very informative answer.
Well, I gotta tell you, somebody asked me a question last night, actually this morning at breakfast, and my initial response to it was much different than what I would respond now, because I've thought about it all day, and it was a very good question, actually. They asked me,
Yeah, it's 5 to 3.
what's the difference between today and 20 years ago as far as the sport is concerned and events that are taking place? And I didn't really clearly understand the question or what the answer that they were looking for was. And interestingly enough, he suggested that because there's been so many variations of rules in the last 20 years, this has caused some inconsistency. And the more I thought about it, I thought that's absolutely right. Because you've had technology changes in racks, and it's kind of like building a better mousetrap type of deal. So this has definitely changed some of the dynamics of the game, and I think it's important, obviously, to have a governing body, a global governing body that is responsible for these things, and you have to maintain constantly monitoring these things as a sport. So if anybody thinks that this stuff isn't being thought about and thought about quite often, they're sorely mistaken. Oh, okay. I would like to see Sierra calm down a little bit. She's still pumped up with a ton of adrenaline. And she was an alternate last year, as you know. Really wanted to play on the team last year and was extremely excited to make the team this year. Came in with she always has a really good attitude, but she's just so pumped up. And I kind of think she feels like she has a lot of weight on her shoulders. I said, no, you just have to relax.
The pressure is enemy.
Right,
Sure.
right. She's certainly capable, there's no question, but as you know, sometimes the mind is your worst enemy.
And she's playing against very tough opponents.
Absolutely, right. Well,
Nice shot.
that
Nice
worked
shot.
out all right.
And
Do you know what time the schedule is tomorrow?
we start at 3 p.m.
Okay.
So a little bit earlier than today, but I think tomorrow we have 6 or 5 matches. So
Right,
it's
right.
a little bit different format. Tomorrow we'll play Scotch doubles.
Right.
That is absolutely different game.
Yeah,
Players
absolutely.
play each
Yes.
one shot.
I've always felt like the Scotch doubles is where it really loosens everybody up, because they don't feel like they're out there on their own. You know, they're actually with a partner that they can discuss things and strategize. And I've always felt like when they do the doubles that anybody that's been wound up or tense loses that anxiety when they've got somebody out there with them. So I enjoy that part.
Sierra just played quite a good safety here. And
And it was given right back to her, right?
yeah, it's This might look a little bit boring, but it's a lot of strategy involved in those small shots. Right?
Absolutely. That's not easy to do.
It's very hard.
Yeah. And you're right. I unfortunately, people that don't appreciate the game enough would turn on this and look at it and think, well, what's going on here? But I challenge anybody to go to their local pool hall and try to just tap a ball like that. It's not easy.
Yeah, it's quite, how to say it, you must understand some billiards
Absolutely.
in order to watch it and understand what is happening. So,
Right.
what a
Oh,
shot.
That was a nice shot.
Sierra is a little bit unlucky here, but
Yeah.
she is smiling. Well, she can try to kick.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
and play safe.
Well, like I said, she's got the skills. Kind of like yesterday when I had to convince her that she would catch you in the paddle boat race. And I have to say I give big credit to my buddy Thomas Overbeck that climbed all the way to the top of the tower and looked over the edge, wanted to do the bungee cord jump, and unfortunately it was closed for the day, so...
Wow. That would be something.
Oh boy, I would have paid some pretty good money to see that.
I'm pretty sure it will be open tomorrow.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right after breakfast. I was just actually wanting to know if Thomas was listening or not. Thank God he's doing his job.
Nice shot, but
Yeah. Yeah. I still think there's a lot of adrenaline in him, right?
yeah,
It seems like everybody's kind of overhit at least one or two shots. Actually, that was one of the things that Johnny Archer was telling his kids. They were sort of questioning the speed of the table, that they were having a hard time adjusting to it. And he said, it's not about your speed. He said, you have to make the shot. He said, you get down, you make the shot. He said, don't worry about the speed. Think about making the shot. And you could see the light bulbs going off above these kids' heads that, okay, they're not going to make excuses anymore. They're going to do their job. And it's really, really good tutelage on Johnny's part. I'm really happy how much Johnny's taken this very seriously. And I kind of knew last year, when he was at the event last year, I kind of knew that he had a pretty big passion for this. And his name was at the top of the list actually this year. And it worked out great because I think between him and Earl Munson, they make a really good pair. Johnny is the sort of seasoned veteran with the expertise, and Earl is the quiet tactician. And they really work together well. And the kids love them.
and this is the most important thing, I think, just to have connection between the
Yes,
coach and the student.
right.
Oh, I think she made it a little bit too fast.
Yeah.
That's costly.
Yeah. Yeah. You put Christina back on the table with a shot like that, and there's a lot of pool left to be played, though.
I think both coaches will have a few words to say after this
Oh,
to the
sure.
teams.
Yep.
For sure, it's just the beginning. It's the first day.
Right.
A lot of matches to play.
Yep.
And I'm sure Team Europe is happy to go to the hotel with 2-1 lead, which is much better.
Right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very nice conversation here with Skip. Thank you, Skip.
Thank you, Thomas. I enjoyed it.
And tomorrow, please come back 3 p.m. Central European Time. We will continue. I'm pretty sure I will find another companions who